Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video right here on XRP. Wanted to do a full higher time frame analysis right now on XRP, just talking about the possibilities and whether the current areas of price are actually a good opportunity to buy in, or whether it looks more like a good opportunity still to sell before further drawdown. We'll talk about that, and then we'll also talk a little bit about next week and everything you need to know regarding that, right? We have some important data coming out, economic data coming out throughout the week, with the most important data with the unemployment rate and non-farm payrolls coming on Friday. And then obviously what matters a lot is any updates we have regarding tariffs, trade deals, whatever, right? So that is what, and that is going to make XRP move as well. XRP right now is obviously very, very correlated to the entire market. XRP itself is correlated for about 71%, which is actually relatively low compared to the correlation normally. But if you take a look at this, you'll see that most altcoins are quite correlated. So that's something you should know. But now let's focus on XRP specifically, right? So yesterday, what I said after this drop down right here into 2.1 is that it already looked like we were bottoming slightly here into the value area low, which is at 2.07. That's our main support. Is it the last support? No, right? So if that breaks, we actually still do have a bit of a buffer zone to the downside, which historically XRP has also pulled back into and recovered. To be fair, I mean, most of you who were around back then, we even one time deviated down to 1.75 and 1.65 before reclaiming that level at 1.95 and $2, right? Basically, the entire support level we have ranges from 2.07, which is a value area low, which I would prefer if we held that, but that's not a given. And otherwise we can drop down all the way into 1.96, 1.95 and still be within the range, right? Because what I wanted to talk about, my apologies, it's a little bit of allergy season, but I'll try to keep it in. The main thing that I wanted to talk about, and this is also something you have to think about for yourself, right? I mean, obviously I make videos about XRP. I know quite a lot about XRP. I've covered it for years now. And I think I have a pretty good understanding of what makes it move, and the price action especially. In the last couple of months. I mean, to be fair, this range is something I called quite early. And every time we hit the bottom, I think I accurately said that, I think we're going to bounce. And every time that has been correct so far. And now we have that question again, all right? We're nearing the bottom of the range right here, a range that we have started since the 1st of December in 2024. So that's over half a year ago. No, that is a half a year ago, a little bit less even. But the main question is again, well, will we actually hold this range, right? Are the fundamentals good enough for XRP, for Ripple specifically, but also for the crypto market in general to hold that level? And that is something you have to think about for yourself as well. In my opinion, the answer is yes, all right? I do think Ripple as a company, as a project, and XRP as a coin are strong enough to hold that level. Now that's on the higher time frames, right? On the lower time frames, then the question becomes, well, do I actually think we're going to spike down all the way to 2.07 and 1.95? And that's a more difficult question. I would lean towards saying that, testing the levels a little bit lower, down towards 2.07, maybe even $2, is quite likely. However, dropping all the way down into 1.95, I think is less likely. I think we're going to be closer to the value area low right here. And get a bounce right there and get some sort of recovery back up to our next resistance level right here at 2.25, 2.28. And then from there, we'll see again, right? I mean, if we get a very strong reaction at 2.25, a strong rejection reaction, we can still drop down into 1.95. But for now, I'd say given the instability in the markets, I do think we're still going to test 2.07 and slightly lower as well. That's not the end of the world. I mean, 2.07 is the value area low, right? So that's not sometimes it is, but it's not a static support level in this case that needs to hold. No, we just need to reclaim that. And that I do expect. And I think we can see some strength after that as well. XRP BTC is getting into some very, very strong support levels. So that's interesting to watch. We'll talk about that a little bit more in my next XRP video. But for now, I think this is most likely, or at least I think this is best to expect. And I'll keep you updated. Have a great Sunday. Take care and bye.